Good morning, everybody, and here we go with the action. Back with it for Saturday morning, and this is the Supreme Pool Series. As you see emblazoned across the back of this amazing looking arena. On the left of your picture is Neil Raybone, on the right, Harjeet Singh. Referee Sam racking the balls. The players have lagged and we're ready to get day number 2 underway. And what a day we had yesterday. Shocks on the cards already. Late last night, we saw Mark Boyle go across into the losers section, losing to the very impressive Moroccan Manchid Omar. We saw young Jordan Templeton beating Ryan Clark, progress through on the winner's side. John McAllister went through against Simon Fitzsimons. The losers section now littered, absolutely littered with bodies. Incredible players though. Let's just have a look at this losers section. Ben Davis, current world champion, Greg Batten, Mark Boyle, Seb Webb's in there, Simon Fitzsimmons is in there, Darren Appleton is in there, Mick Hill is in there, another current world champion, Sean Chipperfield. I mean, the list just goes on, and this is the losers section. The winners won't be back in action until 3 p.m. this afternoon. For now, we're firmly focused on losers round 1. Neil Raybone, the Razor, 33 years of age. He has one son, Harry. He uses a B&W Q with a Phoenix 9mm tip. Former IPA #1 ranked player, World Professional Masters champion, IPA British Open champion, IPA English Open champion, won the World Series in the Netherlands, the World Series in Morocco. I mean, this guy's a list of accreditations and accolades. Started playing pool when he was 11 years old. His greatest inspiration is his former county manager, Len York. His favourite player is Phil Harrison because of his cue ball control and how consistent he is every time he plays. His ambition, like many others, is to be a world champion one day. He has a degree in business management. And the best player he's ever played, or the best players, Gareth Potts, Mick Hill, and Rob Chilton. So that's Neil Raybone. So 1-0 to Harjeet. I can't give you Harjeet's profile because he never submitted one, sadly. But we have seen Harjeet play a couple of times throughout the series so far. And I think I'm right in saying maybe event 3 he won the non-elite Calcutta. Got to quarter-final. My memory's not the greatest, so... He did get to the final of one of the UK tours last year and narrowly lost to Tom Cousins, so he's a very capable player. And, well, they both are, aren't they? Neil right at the top of the game playing in the IPA. Harjeet, as I say, a formidable adversary. Should be a good game. First honours to Harjeet, and this, of course, is the loser's side, so it's a race to 8. Nice break there from Neil. Table, as it often does with this shark rack, goes wide open. And now it just becomes about the pattern and how he wants to take these balls in what order. Reds provide the much easier opener. Just needs to be careful about the order he takes them in, and that's what I meant by when I talk about his pattern. These 4 balls at the bottom of the table, they've got the 2 yellows intersecting them, and it just makes it a little bit awkward in regards to manoeuvring from one ball to the next. And already just ran slightly out of position. It's probably just a few inches short of ideal. He can run through the gap of the 2 yellows and then start work on the top of the table. I don't think he can stay down table. Looks like he's just going to try and nudge this red up. That's not too bad. If that red still goes into the corner, which he's looking closely at, he's still got the clearance. It's just being made more and more tricky as he goes. And this is what I meant by the 2 balls either side of the yellows and the order he took them in. You always felt there was something that could go wrong. There was no natural path from one to the next. So red clearly goes. You can see from that great camera angle. Looking down the barrel. And that looks a perfect angle now. Just the wrong angle on the one that he's looking at now at the top of the table. I think he's going to have to take the one to the right of the black first. Should still be absolutely fine, but I'm not sure if that's the path that he intended. So he's navigated a clearance here that he really should be making, but it really was tricky. He's probably putting a lot more mileage with that cue ball than absolutely necessary. Players tend to like to work at one end of the table, so they might work from the top end of the table and work down the table. When you work your patterns, you tend to work from the black backwards. So you look at what ball you want to get onto the black with, and then you look at the ball that you're going to get on that, and you kind of work your pattern backwards. So if there's six balls left on the table, you kind of map that out, and that's what the player's doing when he first approaches the table. Many, many ways to skin a cat. And that's 2 break dishes. That's some way to start the morning.
Third frame, Harjeet saved the break, 1 frame all. Time running.
Another crunching break. So lots of other games in play at the moment. There were quite a lot of forfeits this morning and walkovers, buys against buys, just because of the way the draw panned out. But I can tell you, so far this morning, Bash Maksud has beaten Cole Bedford, and don't forget this is the loser's side, so that's goodbye to Cole. Lee Washbrook beat Alex Bailey. Ben Rowland beat Liam Pedley 8-0. I'm not sure if that was a no-show or whether Ben actually won that 8-0. Very hard to tell. Martin Hazel beat Dom Cooney 8-5. Yannick Beaufils beat Michael Steele 8-1. Adam Penwell beat Gaz Royds 8-3. That's a great result for Adam. Adam Marlowe beat Daz Lightfoot 8-7. And the scores on the doors from the games that are currently in play. Dylan Leary 2-0 up against Mark Asprey. Kevin George 2-all against Sanj Patel. Jeremy Hooper 2-1 up against Daniel Bishop. Shared a cabin this morning with Mike King and Joe Prince. I think they're rooming together. They're playing each other. Mike King's 2-1 up. George Tierney is currently 3-0 up against Matt Brearley. And, well, Matt's a very, very solid player. That will raise a few eyebrows. But obviously not from George's camp. And that sets up an incredible game, actually. It's midday. If George does win that, George will be playing Mick Hill. Ronan McCarthy's 3-0 up against Darryl Whitworth. Rob Warren 3-1 up against Eddie Barker. Craig Marsh is in action 1-0 against Ian Duffy. Sam Bircher 1-0 against Leo Boomerer. Jez Graham 1-0 against Ben Davis. All these games still in their early doors. Drew Hughes is beating Michael Smout 4-1, and Michael's pain continues after getting beat 11-1 yesterday by Mark Boyle. He's only just got his 2nd frame on the board for the weekend, so he'll be looking to turn things around. Sometimes goes like that, doesn't it? You just can't seem to click over a weekend. So Harjeet now with a bit of a problem here. He's hampered queuing, and he needs to play it with enough pace to get the cue ball out, so he can take the yellow over to the left middle bag, and that's the reason he's missed it, because of the pace he had to play it. I think he's played quite an intelligent shot there. He's tried to play it with an element of safety, trying to get that cue ball up on the rail, knowing that he had a drop in yellow into the middle, but it would leave Neil with a tricky situation approaching the table. I think he's got a long red through the gap of the reds and the black, but playing off the top cushion, it's maybe he can't even get through to it because he's not addressing that shot. He's having another look. So that really only leaves him this one down the rail, which is a horrible shot to face. So a clever shot there from Harjeet. Neil's called his extension. Just needs to be mindful of the time. You see, he's still okay, 18 seconds left. Oh, that's a great opening shot. That really is a great shot under pressure. And for any of you who didn't see it, Chris Melling played yesterday evening against Callum Singleton, and the way he won the match, the shot he played he was in a snooker and got out the snooker, played a double to middle bag, and he actually lined it up and played it. That little clip is circulating currently on Facebook, and I can tell you that it's already had 30,000 views. So one more tricky shot from Neil. This one down the rail. And this has been a great clearance. When he approached the table, it didn't really look on. Showing his class here. Neil, fairly local to the club, I think, so he will know these tables quite well.
Fourth frame, Raybone to break, leading 2 frames to 1, time running.
So unusually balls tied up on the rails here. This is going to be tricky whichever group he chooses. And I don't think he's got any easy openers. He's just looking now, because obviously with the yellow and the black touching each other over on that right-hand cushion, any contact with that yellow, and I think it's a dead set plant. So Neil's looking at, if he goes reds, he's going to try and use the red just above that yellow and black to get in behind that yellow and nudge it out, but it's fraught with danger. He has to make sure he plays that yellow away from the black, because any contact onto the black and it's in the middle.
Red's in play.
This is another very, very tough clearance. Yeah, probably rightly so. He's just moved that ball. Throwing down the gauntlet to Harjeet is a clever shot, because moving that ball just adjacent to the middle bag now gives him another option to attack that yellow and black from below, which is obviously a much safer option. You really do not want to be trying to move that yellow from above. And knowing that Harjeet's got balls tied up, then that's probably the percentage shot from Neil. Just hard to see. He looks like he's going to attack now, so he's going to be screwing up table into the red to bust out the black and the yellow. He's going to have to get some zip on this. Yeah, he just didn't get it. You can still see the ball spinning, but the spin just didn't take. And it's still going now. Look at it. That needed to be precise, though. It was fraught with danger as well. Could easily have flicked the red into the pocket and just left that yellow and black there. But now he's got a real problem. So Harjeet doing pretty much the same as Neil did a second ago. And just trying to push a ball safe. He knows he can't attack from there, promoting one of his balls. And again, throwing down the gauntlet to Neil and saying, go on then, you have a go. And no pressure on Neil, really. He's made a good pot there, but even if he hadn't made it, you can see where he's left the cue ball. And now he can probably go for the out. The ball we mentioned a little while ago, the one that he's just left by the middle bag, he can leave a nice angle off the next shot. Okay, so he's going to clear these two reds at the side first, and then he'd be looking to leave an angle on the one over the middle, so he can just go up and push the yellow aside. He's going to do it now. He wouldn't want to leave it. Arguably, he could leave it till his last shot, but he won't want to in case it goes wrong. So what he'll be looking to do now is pot the red in the middle and move the yellow out of the way. It won't be a firm shot. He's going to play it quite delicately, because all he wants to do is just brush that yellow to one side to the cushion. If he hits it any harder, it'll go up towards the pocket. There you go. That's absolutely perfect. If you push that yellow any further, then it blocks his red, and he can't make the clearance. That really was a delightful little touch shot. more impressive play from Neil Raybone as he extends his lead to 3 frames to 1.
Frame. Fifth frame, Harjeet Singh to break, trailing 3 frames to 1. Time running.
In danger of losing the cue ball, it presented itself to both centre bags, but he's okay. Cue ball's finished tight to the bottom rail, but he does have this fairly easy opening yellow to top corner. I think he'll probably take yellows. Well, I tell a lie. He didn't actually have a opening yellow to top corner because the other yellow was in the path of it. And that's not a good shot. He's just tried to play a little safety there, but he's left a path through for nil. It's still open table, of course. Unlike world rules, you don't nominate after the break shot. It's the break shot is just the break shot. It doesn't determine groups in any way. So again, maybe Neil didn't quite have the path through to the potting angle. So choosing a safety, but has he left this as a plant in the middle? I think he has, you know. It's just a tiny bit careless if he has. I mean, it's unlucky. I don't think it's not dead set. I think it's set to the top lip. There you go. But he can make it. Again, choosing not to. Well, that really is a great shot. And I'll tell you why that's a great shot, because if he'd only potted the yellow, then it would have been loss of turn. Because it would have basically been a failed combination shot. You have to hit your so basically now he's on reds, is what I'm trying to say. He's because he hit the red first. Had he only potted the yellow and the red would have stayed up, it would have been loss of turn, and Neil would have come to the table with a pretty easy finish. Oh, again, that's just a bit careless. He's tried to stun him below the little pack of 3 there. But he's left this wide open now for Neil. So don't forget, we're playing to Supreme Rules. If you want, there is an introduction to Supreme Rules. If you go onto YouTube and, well, basically type in Supreme Rules, or have a look on the Beard Productions channel. Just scroll down a bit. It was one of the first videos that we made yesterday morning. Just myself and Viv Rusco running through some key points to the rules. But if you do want to look at the rule set, they're pinned to the top of the page on the Players Pool Events page. Don't forget also this morning that you can win yourself a chance to, you can get yourself a chance to win a table, a Supreme winner, kindly donated by Supreme. There's a post, again, pinned to the top of the Players Pool Events group. If you like and share that, then you will be in the hat. I can tell you that George Tierney's now 4-0 up against Matt Braley. And it looks like he's just about to go 5-0. So a bit of a cat and mouse game, this one. Difficult to see further attacking options from here for Harjeet. Difficult to see how you can win the frame from here. I think he's having the same thoughts, looking at the expression on his face. He's also running out of safety options. Maybe just glance off the red that's in the centre of the table, bottom cushion, and coming behind the black and reds. At least it opens up one of his balls. Looks like that's what he's playing. That's exactly the shot. Again, just under hit it slightly. Needed another 5-6 inches of pace. But cleverly has pushed one of Neil's balls safe to the side rail. George is going to go 5-0 on that other table. Matt Brierley, uncharacteristically, has just missed an absolute sitter of a black. If you want to watch that game, it's also being streamed on one of the outer tables. There are 4 games being streamed. 4 games will be streamed throughout the weekend. Obviously, until we get to the quarter semis and, the semi-finals and the final stages. Again, Neil just looking to maneuver this ball up over that top corner pocket. I think he would have been quite happy if it dropped in, but he's probably equally as happy that it didn't. And the wheels are falling off for Matt Briley. He's just broken and the ball's gone flying off the table. So at 5-0 down, he's got his back against the wall. And this looking like it could be lined up for a real number one against the people's champion. Some patient play has carved this opportunity out for Neil, and should be winning the frame from here. And Harjeet really hasn't done that much wrong. He's going to be 4-1 behind. Just slightly more angle than ideal, but he controlled that really, really well. Just such a lovely shot. He's got such a nice touch, hasn't he? Always impressed when I watch Neil. Never fails to perform. One of the most consistent players on the tour. Certainly one of the most consistent on the IPA. There you see in the background, that's George racking the balls over on, I believe that's table 3. It's 3 or 4, and he's currently looking happy. Yeah, it's table 4. He's looking very happy because he's 6-0 ahead.
Sixth frame, Neil Raybone to break, leading 4 frames to 1, time running.
Dry one. A wry look from Neil. Harjeet springs out of his seat to survey the land. Yellows look good.
Yellows in play.
Yeah, so obviously looking for problems on the table. The one that's kind of second up from this bottom rail is only goes into the left-hand corner bag, and that's why Harjeet's played on that immediately. These top players always looking at ways of attacking their problems right at the start of the break, and that's just absolutely paramount for he's just pushed that wide. He put so much side on the ball that he just pushed it across the pocket. But yeah, as I was saying, you see the top players, they look at the table and they look for the problem, and they're always looking at trying to remove that problem in the first couple of shots. And the reason for that is because if something goes wrong, then you've got more balls on the table to readdress the problem. If you leave it until last, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. You just saw in the background there the bookmaker, that's Jed Ronan. So if you want to get yourself a little bet on, Jed Ronan's your man. You can find him on Facebook. He's over having a quick look at the action. Just trying to gauge how much money he's going to make this morning. To be fair to Jed, I think he had a bit of a torrid time in the first couple of events, and fair play to him. He's stuck with it. He loves it. He does match betting at the venue, and you can bet outright with him. Top man is Jed. Just looking across at the George against Matt game, George Tierney is on the black for a 7-0 lead, and he dispatches it. It wipes its feet on the way in, but he pops it, and he's now 7-0 ahead. Honestly, if I was looking at this score and I didn't actually know that they were playing, I would say that Matt overslept this morning and George is just having a walkover. Because Matt is some player, UK tour player, very, very consistent, nicknamed the Robot, and probably quite rightly so as well. He's one of those robotic players, normally very consistent. George having a very, very good morning. So he's going to be taking the one up the rail next, but this is one that really does need nice cueing. He needs to time this very well. You like to think that he's helped slightly with this shot, with the red that's just adjacent to the pocket, but it actually didn't make it a bigger pocket. He had to hit that clean, and it actually was a lovely shot. Other scores around the room, Dylan Leary currently 6-1 up against Mark Asprey. Kevin George 5-4 up against Sanjay Patel. Jeremy Hooper 6-3 up against Dan Bishop. Mike King 4-3 against Joe Prince. As we said, George Tierney 7-0 against Matt Briley. Ronan McCarthy 7-2 against Darryl Whitworth. Rob Warren 6-4 against Eddie Barker. Craig Marsh 3-0 against Ian Duffy. Sam Bircher 5-2 against Leo Boomer. And Ben Lewis 3 each against Jez Graham. And result is Drew Hughes 8-1 against Michael Smout. So really not Michael's weekend, only picking up 2 frames in his 2 matches. Unlucky to him. Hopefully we'll see you again for the next series. Sat looking studious in the background there, the familiar figure of Ben Flack. Sat in the black jacket with the Home Leisure Direct across the front of it. Home Leisure Direct, of course, one of the sponsors and is the main sponsor for the grand final. Ben works for Home Leisure Direct. There he is, current England player. He's been in that England team for a lot of years, hasn't he? It's a shame he didn't play in the series. He did play in one event. I think he played in event 4. So it's a shame. It'd be nice to get him signed up for all the events next year. Travelled up from the Bristol area, spending the weekend up here and enjoying the action. Ronan McCarthy's through, 8-2 against Darryl Whitworth. I mean, that's another really delightful shot from Neil. Just controlling that cue ball, coming down, nudging the yellow to one side, making the path for the black easy later on in the frame. Again, not a gimme clearance. Balls tied up on both of sorry, 2 balls tied up on the left rail. I think he's looking to double this one. May not be. Don't think he's got the angle to double it anyway. Oh no, it actually looks perfect. I think he will play the double because he can just hold the cue ball there and then play the one down the rail. Matt Brearley's, Matt Brearley's picked up a frame and Q score suddenly flicked from 7-1 to 7-6. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Oh no, it's reset to 7-1 now. There's something strange going on with Q score. I thought it was my eyes deceiving me because I was looking at the game a second ago and I looked at the score and it said 7-5. And then I looked away for a second and looked back and it said 7-0. So I don't know, there's something odd going on with all the scores are live on the Q Score website, and they're all controlled via a little device, smart device, which all the players have next to each of the tables. So as they update it, it updates on the website. And now there's simple black for Neil. To go 5 frames to 2, a 3-frame lead, looking comfortable. Referee Sam Sprackman calls frame. And Matt Briley's pulled back another frame against George, and it's 7-2. Ben wanders round, he's having a chat with Harjeet. They'll know each other well, both from the Bristol area.
Frame 8, nil Raybone to break, leading 5 frames to 2. Time running.
Immediately loses the cue ball.
Foul, 1 visit, ball in hand above the break line. Time running.
No excuses there. Didn't get kicked in, just screwed it straight into the middle bag.
Reds in play.
Not a simple clearance. Again, for the reason that it's not really a natural path from one ball to the next. I think he's just going to cover the bag here and try and leave it fairly safe. Probably quite rightly so there as well. I don't think that he could get to the potting angle of that red, and there was no other ball that he could use to move it. Neil's going to be looking at ducking for cover. He'll play on the ball nearest the bulk line. Cue ball across the right-hand side of the table to use that yellow and cover the path, which he hasn't done so. Harjeet can get through, but all he's got is a 3-ball plant, and it's not particularly attractive because if he goes for the 3-ball plant, the first object ball is going to be tracking over towards these 2 yellows and the black and will probably get tied up. He's just looking now at the angle. The trouble is to play it in such a way that the top red's going to remain in the open. He's going to have to play it with some real pace, which makes the shot a lot more difficult. The problem is I fail to see what other options he's got, really. He's got no defensive options. I wonder if he can cut the one to the left, into the left bag. Yeah, again, a fairly clever shot. I mean, he probably wanted that to roll on just a few more inches. What he was trying to do is, he's obviously established himself over this right-hand pocket, but he was trying to put some covering fire in across the left-hand pocket as well, just to make it tricky for Neil. As I say, I think this yellow above the black may pass below that red, so it's not quite achieved what he wanted. Might be okay. Yeah, Neil looking at that gap now. It's another one that, yeah, just went. Now looking at the skill shot. And this is another occasion where he doesn't necessarily need to complete the combination shot. He can play a tactical shot here. Yellow onto red, leave his yellow over the pocket, and Harjeet's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to play the ball from where he is, so he can Neil, in playing this shot, he'll have the pocket covered, and he'll snooker Harjeet behind the other ball. He's going for the full combo. Personally, I would have preferred to leave the yellow there, because if you look at what shot Harjeet's got next, he's got nothing. He's snookered on one red by the black. The other one is a horrible cut up the side cushion, and if the yellow's over the pocket, he can't pot the other ball. So I don't think that was a percentage shot myself in these rules, because Harjeet has to play the ball from where it is, and he's only got one shot. And Neil's in total command of the frame. But there, who am I to question Neil Raybone? I'm going to say all of that, and he'll probably clear the table. I just think that, given the percentages, I think the percentage shot was to play the tactical shot. Matt Brealey's won another frame. It's now 7-3. Yeah, and there you see, it's now gone wrong for him. Lost control of the frame, and I think it's just, you can't even say it's the lack of knowledge of the rules, really, because Neil played in an event in this club in early November, which he won. So he must know the rules. He must know the rules well. But the players, I think, because these shots aren't natural to the players, they're not necessarily seeing them. I think Gareth Potts mentioned it yesterday, that when you're under pressure, you revert to type. He said it over the Darren Appleton game, because Darren kind of reverts to type and goes back to what his muscle memory knows, which is American pool, and how the kind of dynamics of that game. And it's probably the same for Neil. I mean, he's a black ball player, and when you go for those combination shots, you're naturally trying to make them, because that's in your psyche. That's what you do as a black ball player. Whereas I think someone probably from a world rules background would have seen that shot, more so, and because they've got more of that kind of tactical mind. As it is, I mean, there's no pictures on the scorecard. It looks like it's not going to affect the result of the frame. Neil probably should clear up from here, although this is a tough shot. Needs to pot this with pace. Come around two cushions. With side. Yeah, that's no good. In all honesty, I thought he was going to play that with left-hand side to come top rail, side rail, and swing the white out wider. Might still be able to clip this. If he can't, then he can definitely get the bag, which will give him the advantage in the frame. Oh, and off. Disaster. Hit it too thin.
Ball in hand. Time running.
Had he hit it a shade thicker, the white would have come down and probably potted it. So ball in hand, anywhere on the table for Harjeet. The red clearly doesn't pass into either bottom left or bottom right. So, sorry, the red above the black is the one I was talking about. So Harjeet just electing to promote one of his reds and leave Neil with just an edge of the black to go for. Going for the double. Not close. And another foul. And that will be frame. So Harjeet again with ball in hand. Anywhere on the table. No, that's that classes as a tactical shot, doesn't it? Because he's hit his own ball first and potted his opponent's ball. It's classed as a... See, I'm getting myself confused here. That is classed as a tactical shot, so Harjeet has to play the ball from where it lies. Very good stuff from the ref there. He picked that up immediately. Didn't call ball in hand. Skinny cut back for Neil, but you fancy him to get it, and he does. So that a frame that, well, Harjeet had his chances in. Probably should have won, really. But it's 6-2. And Matt Briley looks like he's going to win another frame. And it looks like he's going to put it back to 7-4. So he's battling back. They say the hardest frame is the one that gets you across the line. Wow, I don't know if you're watching this along with me, but Matt's played his penultimate yellow and left himself a really skinny little shot on the rail, which he makes, and it's now 7-4. And thanks to Mint Promotions, these guys have made some incredible looking shirts for the Supreme Pool Series. You see all the options of colours on the left hand side. Do visit their website and pick up one of those shirts. It'll look fantastic. Your local club or your league, use those Supreme Pool Series shirts. Oh no, it's Harjeet's turn. Screwed it straight in off. Ball in hand, behind the break line. One shot.
Foul, ball in hand, behind the break line. Time running.
Which is the instruction echoed by the referee.
Yellow's in play. Extension called.
Well, he's definitely overhit that. And he's overhit it by quite some margin. And he's got the wrong angle on the one over the middle, but he can just nip it back. Yeah, he could nick a bit of the pocket and nip it back, and that's perfect. Just looking now to see if the black goes past that red into the corner. If it doesn't, I think he can just stun back into this red, can't he? It obviously goes. I think he could have just stunned back into that red and played it into middle. Good stuff from Neil. He's on the hill. Talking of on the hill, George is still on the hill. It's 7-4. He is at the table, but on a very unlikely finish. So the pressure's going to be on him now. That 7-0 lead quickly being eaten away.
Frame, Neil Raybone to break, leading 7 frames to 2. Time running.
referee is, yes, I like a bit of that. Asking Neil to take his seat when he takes the rack off. The players should be allowed to get any advantage from the time taken to take the rack off, so they're asked to remain in their seats so they can't plan their pattern. Very commanding performance from Sam. Cameraman struggling to keep up with Neil's ducking and diving there. It's like a little jack in the box. And Neil with a really good chance now to close out this match. Just half a pocket away, Matt. Oh. Big mistake. It was just half a pocket away, Matt, but it would go. He caught the red on the way past. I can tell you that over in that George game, Matt Brierley's on another makeable clearance, and it looks like it's going to go to 7-5. So the pressure will squarely be on George's shoulders. Matt will feel he's hasn't got much to lose. And you've got to say, from a player that was really struggling, Matt Brierley doesn't look like missing now. Harjeet doing all he can to stay in this. Backed firmly against the wall. All he can do is win this frame, try and break condition next, just try and put some pressure. 7 frames to 3. The lead is now 4. Dylan Leary's through 8-1 against Mark Asprey. Kevin George through 8-4 against Sanjay Patel. Jeremy Hooper 7-6 against Daniel Bishop. Mike King is on the verge of going out. He's trailing Joe Prince by 7-5 after being in charge of that game. As we mentioned, George Tierney now 7-5 against Matt Brierley. Ronan McCarthy through 8-2. Rob Warren 8-4 against Eddie Barker. Craig Marsh beat Ian Duffy 8-0. Sam Bircher 6-4 against Leo Boomer. And Jez Graham 7-3 against Ben Lewis. in the next round, there's already some great games set up. Mark Boyle will be playing Greg Batten. It'll be a tough game for both of those. Seb Webb against Lee Washbrook. Sure, they've played each other for a money match in the past, haven't they? Yannick Beaufils will have Phil Naylor. So a big break from Harjeet. Just trying to spread my attention between these two key games. I can tell you that George is at the table on a clearance at 7-5. Harjeet probably should be winning the frame from here. He's asked the referee to clean the cue ball. Referee calls timeout. Adeptly removes the white. And will shortly call time running. That's a nice shot. Just making sure he gets up top of table to clear these few balls out, leaving the yellow to the left of the black as his last ball. Ideally would have probably liked to be in another 3 inches, 4 inches up the table. But he should be fine from here. Talking about should be fine from here, George on a finish. He played a really good shot to move the black ball out, and he's won. Wow, what a miss there from Harjeet. He should never be missing that ball. Maybe just took his eye off the prize. Yeah, so George Tierney through, and he will play Mick Hill, the real #1, versus the People's Champion. Now, if that isn't on the main arena table, I will be shocked. I can tell you that the next game on stream will be Mark Boyle against Greg Batten. So the next game on this main arena table will be Boyle v Batten. On the other stream tables, John Rowe versus Ben Rowland, Stevie Dempsey versus Oli Bell, and David McNamara versus Darren McVicker. So those are the 12 o'clock stream games. Big shot coming up here for Neil, and he's missed it. Missed the cannon. He's got another. Has he been lucky here? He might have been lucky, you know. I think he can have another go at it. He can clip this red in the middle with a touch aside. I mean, if he's left an angle where he can clatter into these two, then he's been quite fortunate. Has he seen some kind of plant? Plant off the yellow? Surely not. Surely not. That is a fantastic shot. That really is top quality. Look at this. Plant off the yellow. What a shot. That's one that Mr. Melling would be proud of. The vision to be able to see that. What a great shot from Neil Raybone, setting up this finish. overrun it. Just. But he's okay. Slightly awkward queuing off the rail, but nothing more than a half ball hit. And what a good win there from Neil Raybone. Brilliant stuff. And we say farewell to Harjeet. Hopefully, if they run a series again next year, he'll be in it. He's had a really good season. It's Neil Raybone that comes through. We will try and catch Neil for a few words in the interview room. And we'll speak to you again very shortly. The next game on here will be Greg Batten. And he'll be playing Mark Boyle. We'll speak to you shortly. Good morning, everybody. I'm joined by Neil Raybone, the winner of that game. How did you feel about that game, Neil?
Yeah, I thought I played quite well. Made a couple of mistakes, but overall, yeah, played pretty solid, and I knew I had to be really because Harjeet's a good player. So
Yeah, so obviously loser section, lost yesterday in a hill game against John Chapman. There's a long route back through this loser section, isn't it?
yeah, it's very tough to be honest. I mean, I had my chances yesterday. I was 10-8 up in my match and I lost 11-10. But yeah, like I say, it's a long road back in the loser section. But you know, it's still a long match, first to 8. So you know, you just got to take one match at a time, one frame at a time, and yeah, everyone's got a chance really.
In respect of the rules, obviously it's a brand new set of rules, probably brand new for most players. How are you finding them? I know you came and played an event here a few weeks ago and won it.
Yeah.
So how how are you kind of adapting across them? Are you finding them like a natural transition?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I like the rules, to be honest. I mean, I have actually played quite a bit of Chinese 8-ball. Not really tournament level, but I practiced quite a bit with Gareth Potter previously, Chinese 8-ball, and the rules are like very similar to that. And yeah, I do like the rules. I think they're a good set of rules, and you get punished for your mistakes. Yeah, I think the rules are great, really.
There was a period, I can't remember exactly the frame, that was quite deep into the match where you played a combination shot, and I kind of felt that if you played the incomplete combination shot and covered the pocket with the yellow, it gave you a massive advantage in the frame. Are you just maybe not naturally seeing those shots yet because it's not becoming natural to you?
I mean, possibly. I mean, you know, obviously I've played the rules a lot in terms of Chinese 8-ball, but I've never played them on an English pool table, and obviously I do play a lot of black ball, so you know, it's not second nature really to obviously see the shots sometimes. But you know, overall, I feel quite comfortable with the rules really.
So Zach Shepherd, 130, I think.
Yeah,
Feel about that one.
Well, Zach Shepherd next. Obviously, same again. I'm going to need to play solid, play well. And then if it's for win that match, probably got to win another like 10 matches or something to get back to last 16. But as long as I'm in the at, you know, I've got a good chance really. So.
£51,000 on the line, so everything to play for.
Yeah, people have had worse weekends, so should be good.
All right, Neil, thanks very much. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Nick.
Best of luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
We're back with the action, and it's Mark Boyle against Greg Batten. We'll probably be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. See you shortly.